Welcome to the Playful Domme, the Poly Wife, and the Virgin podcast, where we share our most intimate stories, experiences, and details of our love lives, our intimacy lives, our play lives, and giving you the opportunity to gaze in and get a glimpse of what could be possible in your life as well. As we share our stories, our adventures, we weave in tips, tricks, and techniques to help build your confidence, boost your courage, and give you the opportunity to ask for what you want in your life. Welcome to the podcast. Oh, and just a couple of quick thoughts before we get started. One, we are just everyday people. We are not professionals, licensed therapists, anything like that. This is for edutainment purposes only. This is not medical advice or legal advice, financial advice, nothing like that. Listen at your own discretion. And this is for mature audiences. We're going into deep subjects and sharing deeply about intimacy and all the things about that. So just notice who you're around and let's go. Hello. Welcome, listeners, to our latest podcast. We're in for a quickie today where we are going to be talking about the one, the only, the member, the thing, the cock. So we've got Lisa, the poly wife, who is a cock connoisseur. She is one that has really delighted herself. I'm more of a cock feeler, and Lisa's more of a cock licker. So we thought that today we would bring in some different tips and techniques that have really, Lisa knows her art quite well, and she's got the men just rolling around, begging for more, saying it's the most orgasmic, extraordinary, out of this world thing, and Lisa is an overachiever, so it is no doubt that she would be able to be quite successful about that. So for all of our listeners, whoever you are, welcome to our podcast. I've got Ella the Virgin with me, and Jess the Playful Domme, myself, and Lisa the Poly Wife. So Lisa, take it away.
Well, okay. Yes, I love eating cock. I have to admit it. I love sucking on it. I love kissing it. I love playing with it. Oh my gosh, it's the best thing. But I was not always this way, actually. So I would say in 34 years of marriage, there was a minimum solid 10 years where I did not put a cock in my mouth.
Wow.
Probably. Yeah. Our sex life was pretty dull and oral sort of. I just wasn't it. If I did, it was like, it was just to kind of get it over with. It wasn't enjoying it. And I had never really enjoyed at all giving blowjobs in my youth. Nobody ever taught me how to do it. I just did what I thought I was supposed to do, which was mimic penis in vagina movements. Mm-hmm. And so that was all it is. It's like, okay, a guy masturbates by moving up and down on his cock. My mouth has to go up and down on that cock. And every once in a while, I'll try and get it like down my throat or something, because I've seen that on porn and that's hot-ish. Doesn't feel awesome, but that's what I'm supposed to do. And that's what oral sex is. So that's what I'm doing. And then I had a friend, and she loved sex. And this was during a really long dry spell for us. And I thought, wow, she's so enthusiastic about it. And she was into, now that I think about it, she was into some BDSM, and she, restrained her lovers and had leather play toys and stuff like that. And so she kind of got me thinking about enjoying blowjobs again. And so she just loved it so much so I thought, okay, well, let me try it. And so I went back, and hubby and I are enjoying oral, and I'm enjoying blowjobs again, and it was great. And then he and I opened up our marriage, and I met Orion in March of 2019. So it's 2 years plus.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And he showed me, I had been interested, I think we've talked about it before, Orgasmic Meditation by Nicole Daedone is the OM practice, the OM practice. And he understood OM, and he did that OM technique on me. But then he showed me a video, And we'll put a link in the below or wherever it ends up being, but we'll put in a link to, there was an article in Vogue magazine about orgasmic meditation and performing oral on a man for a woman's pleasure.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
What kind of crazy freaking concept is that?
Not the beauty, but for pleasure. Okay.
Like for my pleasure, what I don't understand. It's for his pleasure. It's always been for his pleasure. I'm the dong. I mean, I'm the glory hole or what. I'm the whatever it is to get him off. It's all about him, right? And he had me watch a video. So this woman who was part of the One Taste organization had done a video on oral sex on him for her pleasure.
Okay.
And she narrated I don't know, 12 or 15 minute, maybe 20-minute video. She narrated what it was that she was doing and feeling and thinking while she was giving that blowjob. And basically her point was, the guy is going to enjoy anything you're doing in that area.
Okay.
So stop making it about him and start thinking about what it is about that member, that plaything that you enjoy. How do you like it to feel in your mouth? How do you want it to move through your mouth? How do you want it to move down your throat and progress? And she used a few tips and techniques and how to hold it. And, if your jaw is getting tired, the whole point is don't get tired, relax, do something else. It's easy to change things up a little bit. Play with the balls, lick around the area, give your mouth and your jaw and your muscles a break, but do what feels good to you. He'll enjoy it. And don't let him tell you, don't let him sort of direct you. Tell him that you're doing it for your pleasure and he's along for the ride. And what I have found is that even the most dommy men who like to be in charge in the bedroom really do enjoy a woman enjoying their cock. Like it puts them to their knees. They enjoy it. They don't know that they would have enjoyed it until I have done it for them. And I'm like, I don't care what you want. I'm going to do. If I'm hurting you, let me know. If you're not enjoying it, let me know. But I'm going to have some fun with your cock. Is that okay? Yes. And I go at it. And it changed everything for me. And now Jess had talked to us about how to do the hand jobs and do a complete sensual massage. And she's only using her hands. And I think I said that I had started practicing, but I cannot keep my mouth off the cock because it's so much fun for me. So, I don't think I could ever professionally give sensuous massages because I would just want that beautiful cock in my mouth. And then another gentleman had told me, I don't know if I ever talked about this. This was the man who had taught me about the wheel of consent. And he taught me also about soft cock massage and soft cock oral, and just said, there's something really amazing about a soft cock massage for the receiver and for the giver. And his making it like normal, common for a man to have some arousal and still not be hard and not be a thing, sort of put it out of my head that it's a thing, right? So I had 2 dates this week, and one was with a man who's had testicular cancer, so he has no balls. Okay. So we got to have that conversation. He doesn't care about it. I don't. And he's like, well, how do you feel about that? And I said, well, I don't care. It's like, I don't really know. I don't have a whole lot of experience handling balls and cocks, handling them. So to not have any balls actually works out really well for me because it's one thing I don't have to worry about. And we both laughed and it was great, right? So, and then the other guy I talked to had experienced ED, and he'd had some problems and was taking testosterone. And I said, well, actually, that's really good news for me, because I don't think there's anything I love more than a soft cock blowjob. He goes,
Wow.
really? And
Yeah.
suddenly it put him completely at ease. So here
Yeah.
I am with two men who may or may not have erectile dysfunction problems. One's 38 and the other's 44. So they're young guys.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And we haven't had any intimacy. This was just a date to sort of meet each other. It put them both at ease that I have zero issue with a hard cock. I like, you do not have to be hard for me. I can totally, really enjoy myself and get all excited about a soft cock. And suddenly it was just, everybody's relaxed and happy. And I didn't realize how impactful that could be. But it is impactful. I just got a text from one of them. Our first date, we went to a nude beach. So we went to an empty beach and just took all our clothes off and laid out. And we were supposed to have lunch. And he's like, oh, I wish you were here. And he was at the beach. And I was like, oh, I'll go nude sunbathing anytime. And so he changed our date from lunch to this nude beach. And I said, okay, that's fine. But we were supposed to have lunch. So we are not playing. There is no touching. There is nothing going to happen. I have no problem taking my clothes off in front of you, but I want to be clear that I'm not expecting play. And he says, absolutely no problem. I'm completely respectful. I've had my own incidences with unwarranted, undesired contact. I do not do that. And I was like, okay, great. We spent a couple hours naked on an empty beach, having a wonderful time and having these really wonderful, frank conversations, which was great. So Jess had asked me to kind of describe what it is that I do during a blowjob. So that's what I'm gonna, I wanted you to understand what my relationship with blowjobs has been up until now.
Well, and I want to just interject really quickly, like how powerfully important and healing it is for Lisa to be like, you got a soft cock, you have balls, awesome, let's have fun, because men have so much wrapped up in their cock, and then it's almost like a reflection of how they are in the world and how to be seen and how they show up, and especially with the overindulgence of porn that's like everywhere, and it's like, oh, if I don't have a cock that can do this and that and this and all these things, that I'm not a man. And I think that there's just something about women being able to accept, and it's just such a beautiful process that Lisa has been able to share. Perhaps, especially for her being poly, if that one man was her only partner, that could be a big strain on the relationship, right? But because she has a stable of men and she's open to playing and being curious, and it's creating a space for the men to heal, because what else is there? What else is there to play? That when you take certain things off the table, can you be courageous and playful and curious enough to see what else is there? Like the soft cock massage and soft cock blowjob. That sounds amazing. How many men are popping Viagra's and like all this stuff because they're afraid of having a soft cock? Because if you have a soft cock, that means you're not turned on and that you're not working and it doesn't work and you can't perform and da-da-da-da-da.
That's actually the reason it came up, is because he said he took Viagra. And I was like, I don't really want you to take that with me, because I don't want you to have an unending erection. That doesn't work for me. And I don't have a problem with not having intercourse, because there's toys and fingers and mouths and all sorts of fun things to do. And I don't care. And it really did seem to relieve him. And he was actually the younger of the two men. So that was quite.
What a gift. What a great gift, Lisa. I mean, really, like Jess was saying, such a beautiful thing.
But I also think, and the other thing I wanted to say in response to Jessica's comment is that men are as self-conscious as women are. We tend to carry it in our lives, no matter what we're doing. I weigh too much, I eat too much, I'm not enough, whatever our little story is that we tell ourselves, we live with that all the time. But I would say that almost every single man that I've been with has made a comment to me about their not enoughness.
Mm-hmm.
In a subtle way, maybe not as openly, because they're quieter about it. Maybe it's because I'm a welcoming person. I don't mind having that information, and I speak so frankly, and I fart when I come. So
Yeah, exactly.
I did not admit that to these boys, though. I didn't. That, I think, may have passed. Literally, that gas may have passed. So we all have our things, and if we just treat each other with respect and fun, it can work for. I think it can work for everybody. So I was really surprised how self-conscious they are. And I have another man that I date who is balding, right? So he coiffs his hair in a particular way, and don't touch his hair, don't get it wet. And I'm as fussy about my hair. So I'm really excited to be dating a guy who's fussy about his hair, because he'll respect my hair. He'll respect my hair too. So it's been interesting to see that. But I think that we as women aren't taught to be okay with a soft cock. I mean, everybody believes that something's wrong if you've got a soft cock. And I can say that with one of my men, I did get to experience him with a soft cock blowjob, and he was specific in telling me, do not think that I am not enjoying myself just because I'm not hard. It was an amazing blowjob in that particular case. And he helped me boost my confidence because he gave me feedback that he really was enjoying it, like to the max. He even came, he just never got hard. And that experience gave me part of the confidence to be able to say, I don't care, because I know you're having a good time. Unless I'm hurting you, I know you're having a good time with your hard or soft. And I don't take it personally if you're not. And I had sex with a guy last week, and neither one of us came. And we played for about probably an hour and a half or so. And we exhausted ourselves, and neither one of us came. We were just like, okay, I'm going to go home. Is that okay with you? Yeah, sure. Okay, great. I'll see you in a week. Right. It was so laid back. I mean, he got hard pretty quick too. I think he's uncut. I don't know, because I never saw him soft. So he had the opposite problem, and he was too big for my mouth. Like, that was hard and fun and challenging. But I tried to just give him a hand job, and I could not keep my mouth off of it. So I ate it up. It was all yummy.
So Lisa, do you have some like tips and tricks? Like, what makes yours?
Yes.
Why do you think yours? Tell us what you've learned over the years.
Well, I think the thing that I've learned and adapted the most is doing a lot of different things.
Okay.
I have a Kindle Unlimited subscription, and I actually downloaded a book on blowjob techniques.
Oh, really?
Like 50 tips for great oral for men or something like that, or for women or something. And actually I can look it up. But so what I start with is sort of stroking lightly, and then pushing the cock out of the way and nibbling and licking on the crease between the thigh and the pelvis.
Okay.
And that V area is very erotic for a lot of men. And so I kiss and lick up the sides of his pelvis, and I stroke his thighs.
Okay.
And that makes the cock seem to want it more. So some men I have found sort of like their cocks kind of twerk.
Yeah, sure.
But you know what I mean? Really sort of, I get some serious movement, and they twitch in anticipation of being touched. That's the best way to put it. And then I'll lick. I also think that we ignore the side that faces the man. So what I would call the inside of the cock that faces the body, that would spring back towards the belly. That side of it generally gets ignored, because we're seeing the erect cock. So we're seeing what might be considered the bottom of the cock, standing up straight, right? So we tend to lick up and down that, but I find that they're very sensitive on the inside, on the belly button side.
Okay.
I have a really small mouth, and so it's helpful for me to start with a hand-mouth combination. And so I think the other thing is I move really slowly.
Time
Agonizingly slow.
Yeah.
And if I think I'm going too slow, I slow down.
Interesting.
So I am taking my time, and it helps me relax and helps my mouth relax. And it allows time to elapse.
Okay.
And so there's a little bit more anticipation as everything is building. I do not do a constant up and down motion for the entire blowjob. So I will focus on, I also had a man few years ago, 2 years ago, send me a video of the kind of blowjob he wanted. And I'll put the link in our space.
Yep.
And it was just basically it was a focus on the head.
Okay.
With the thumb. Okay, so if I am holding a cock, if I'm between a man's legs and I'm holding the cock, the thumb is facing, my thumb is facing me. So that's the side of the cock that's facing me. I find that there's a quarter of a turn, not a full 90 degrees, but more like a 45-degree place, that if I stroke that with my thumb up and down, it's sensitive. It's not the front, it's not the back, it's not either of the sides. It's sort of on the corner of the cock being circular, but you know what I mean, 45 degrees from the front. And if I'm just focusing on the head, I stroke with just my thumb. So there's not a lot of movement, but there's licking on the head and the thumb movement underneath the head in one spot. And that seems to help build excitement. And then I will take 1 or 2 strokes and put my whole mouth over the head of the cock and go down a quarter of the way. And I'm teasing. And what I'm trying to do is I'm doing it with a very loose tongue and loose mouth. So it's really flowy and watery and not in any way. The place that's tight is my grip, if I choose it to be.
Okay.
And I find that my mouth gets pretty dry because I do smoke pot. So I tend early in the blowjob to try and get the head of the penis as far back in my throat as possible for a controlled gag, because that releases a lot of saliva and helps me lubricate the cock. And if I really have cotton mouth, I'll start with the cock because I've learned Jess's hand technique. I may start on the cock with coconut oil, and then I know I've got some lubrication anyway, but I do deep throat in order to get a little bit extra saliva moving around in my mouth. Does that kind of make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so the controlled gag and the gag reflex, what do you have to say about that? Because there's been a few times where I've felt the reflex like coming up my throat and like having to like swallow it back down. So what do you think?
That happens. It happens. I do not, like I said, I have a really small mouth and I'm short, so I don't have a long reach. As a matter of fact, I wrote some really freaking great erotica about it. Actually, would you mind terribly if I read you the erotica I wrote about my blowjobs?
No, do.
Is that okay?
Go.
Okay, it's very short. And it's called Lie Back. This is for me. Lie back. Let me show you what pleases me. I'm kissing you slowly. My tongue is lightly playing with your lips, dancing across them, teasing. Your neck is mine to lick and suck on. Is it okay for me to leave a hickey below your neckline? It's a little taboo, naughty. Our secret, unless you're inclined to take your shirt off at work. Good. That collarbone is all mine. It's deep and a little salty. Your skin is delicious. I move to your nipples. They perk up with my attention. I'm glad you like how I'm working my way down. I have a clear intention. I have a goal. I want your cock in my mouth. I want to enjoy your cock for my pleasure. I enjoy licking and sucking. I want to take you deeply in my throat. You'll enjoy it, but it's possible that I'll enjoy it more. I'm doing this for me. You're a passenger, willing certainly, but I want to enjoy you. Lie back. This will get messy. I'm all in.
Oh yeah, that's great. That's like one of our first ones you read. Thank
Yep.
you. Oh,
So
Very good.
yeah, I like to have my guys read my porn because it helps them understand either what my experience has been or what I like to do and that kind of things. So yeah, I've been having fun with it.
question, besides like the cock, working the cock, tell us what you do around, you know, the balls and all that.
So I do, well, so you want to get consent first.
Okay.
Some guys have very sensitive balls and don't want you anywhere near them. A couple of them like a little bit of tugging or one guy has pretty small balls and he likes me to get both of them into my mouth and suck a little bit. And so I've done that before, but if I can't get both in my mouth, I'll do one and then the other. And men I have found really like, if they really like to be licked underneath their balls, but you have to be careful in the taint area.
Okay.
Because some guys don't want you anywhere near their ass.
Mhm.
And I'm not ass phobic, but I'm not used to going there. So it's not, I have had guys who really like to have their asses licked.
Yeah.
And I'm not all in on that quite yet. I'll admit I'm working on it and I do it, but I'm not doing it for my pleasure. I'm doing it for their pleasure. Big difference. Yeah. So I've never run across anything terribly offensive. It's never been bad, but it's not something I really love. And Jess and I have a friend who loves asses, and I think we should absolutely have her on here for a primer on ass play because she's brilliant. And here's the thing. When I'm exposed to something, I'm finding that I will become more interested in it. You know, so, oh my God, I have to send you a video. I was at a party last week and I was fire flogged and it was the most amazing sensation. I absolutely loved it. And it never would have occurred to me to enjoy it or think about it or ask for it, but somebody liked it. I watched somebody do it and I was like, yep, I'm in, do it. I'll do it too. And so this woman loves ass play. And so she talks about it with such enthusiasm and desire and passion that I'm kind of like, I must be missing something. I want to be that excited about ass play. Mm-hmm. I mean, licking an ass. I want to be all in on ass play, but it doesn't feel shameful to be interested in it, but I'm embarrassed to ask about it. So you want to ask the guy if he's okay with ass area if you're interested in going there, but otherwise just really underneath the balls, any kind of licking around the balls, sometimes really slowly. I'll do a figure 8 around the balls and then up the shaft and take him completely in my mouth and then out of my mouth and then back down and a figure 8 around the ball so that he's getting a sort of all over sensation. And then I might go up the shaft again, take him completely in my mouth, deep throat him and squeeze the balls at the same time so that he's completely engulfed. And one of the gentlemen I was with, not one, I mean, I'm not with a ton, right? I've been with 2 guys, but one of Sapio, asked me to pull his balls away from his body. Not violently, but just tug them away from his body. And that felt really good for him while I was working on his shaft with my mouth. And so I did that. And so I sort of massaged his balls away from his body and gave them a squeeze sometimes. But then you also want to watch your nails. So be careful about that if you're touching that general area, because I scratched a couple of times. So I have to keep my nails a little tiny bit shorter. I haven't navigated my nails well yet, but I'm learning and I'm sharing while I'm learning.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Any other questions? What do you do, Ella, as a virgin?
As a virgin, I guess, wow, I didn't expect that question. So for me, I agree with you that I think that we've seen, or we believe that it should be like the same kind of stroke as inside of us, right? I've tried really hard to slow down as well and enjoy. And I think that that's been one of our, it keeps being interweaved in our podcast to slow down. Don't be in a hurry. And I've taken some of the things that you've said, and, if it feels like it's slow down more. So,
Right.
I don't know. I like to play around the head. Of course, I think that it's sensitive, up and down. I have, my partner happens to be visual. So, they like to watch. So there's a lot of, erotica in that. So simple things. I'm here to get some information. I'm here to
I think the bottom line is, if you're having a good time, they're having a good time.
Yeah.
They can pick up on, they can feel in the energy. I think I said this on another podcast, that they might not consciously be aware, but they will energetically feel whether you're doing it as a duty or from your desire. So if you're doing it because, you think that that's what, it kills it. Like they're like, unless they're so disconnected, and then that's something to look at, that there's someone that's disconnected and will just fuck and like take whatever and isn't even aware that the person that they're with is being a rag doll or doing whatever it is, like to get them off, but part of One Taste, part of the deeper teachings in it, and I'm interested, I'm glad that you shared it, Lisa, because I've been thinking about a guy who really knows her teachings. I was going to invite him on to share. He's really fantastic. When I was in Paris, he and I would talk for like hours about like everything. And one of the things is that men's cocks respond to a woman's desire. So if you are feeling desirous, their cock will rise. They will feel it. And erectile dysfunction aside, I don't want to like say that, but I would say like generally. So when I'm like, it's that thing in them, and I've heard that from other men who've done a lot of deep work, is that their cocks respond to your desire. So if you're not feeling it and you're just showing up just to do the thing, might work for a little while, might work on the short term maybe, but in the long term it's not going to work in a relationship.
I can absolutely vouch for that, because I can say that one of the guys, almost all the guys that I have been dating, have asked me, well, what turns you on? And my answer is your desire turns me on. Like, I don't know what I don't know. And I don't know what I don't know everything that I like. So suggest everything, because I'm willing to listen, because I don't know if I'll like it or not. And I might be open to it.
I think that's the most beautiful thing about this podcast for me, because a lot of this is brand new to me. And I'm like, wow, I didn't even know that, right? I didn't know what I didn't know. But again, just the way you guys are so direct and authentic about your conversation, it's like, oh yeah, I'll be into that. Come on, let's go. That's what I'm saying. We got to get some of these after hours videos done.
The other thing I would say is, it also, I don't think men are used to this kind of a frank conversation, and just being willing to say, I love you. I can't wait to have your cock in my mouth is a turn on. Right? It's
if you mean it, make sure you mean it, and not just say the thing. Because I mean, we've all done that too. It's like, okay, I got like 5 minutes. All right, what do I gotta say? All right, can't wait to get your cock in my mouth. Like, here we go. Yes. Yeah, babe. Yeah. Yeah. Keep going. Yeah, right there. Yeah. So it's like, so there's a bit of like. Just trying to like coach them through, trying to coach them through the session, all right, here we go. But it's interesting, after we had last week our podcast with Josh, he and I have done a lot of prostate play since then, and it's been really cool to like, so when like I'm inside him and like I'm figuring it out, and I'm like, okay, harder, faster, slower, and like we're just like, it's like this really it's just such a playground. It's so exploratory and it's so much fun. And even today, I tried a new move on underneath his cock, like kind of within his balls, like stroking his shaft. I think it's not quite the taint, but it's just like right over it's the longer base of his cock, but you don't really feel it. So I was like pressing on that, and he's like, oh, that's a new sensation, you know? So like there's different things. I was doing I had my fingers in his ass last week, sucking on his cock and stroking at the same time. It was a carnival.
Go, Jess, go.
Wow.
It was a carnival.
Go, Jess, go.
You know,
I can't wait to be able to do that.
That was a lot of coordination and like flow and like, okay, so we're gonna have the fingers in here and then we're gonna stroke like this and have the mouth like that, and okay, and responding to him, and oh, okay, just hold my fingers, oh, okay, you know, like, so it's just such a blast, you know. But I think that relationships deserve time in bed together, and a good amount of time together. And I think about how many people just kind of like roll over and like get it over with, and I know he wants it, and you know, but women aren't getting turned on. So really it's about how do we get women in their turn on, because if we get them switched on and turn on to their desire, then they're going to be jumping all over the man and to me or their partner. And to me, I think the partner is going to want to do whatever they can to have that.
Well, I'll also say that I'm beginning to have a better understanding that it's up to me, myself, to make sure that I get turned on, so that I'm directing the things that will get me turned on. And we'll talk about this next week. I had written it down in my notes, is the difference between my pussy when it's turned on and when it's not. I'm excited. Yeah, it's wet, it's happy. But I found with Sapio, I found a complete difference. We finally got to a place where my pussy was actually visually, physically different than all the other times we had ever had sex. It was because I was more turned on, and it was because we had spent a lot of time having sex over the last couple of weeks. And then, you know, now we probably won't have sex for another couple of weeks. And I'm seeing him every week, but we're Sapio, right? So we just have lunch or dinner or whatever. So we're having dinner tonight and we won't have sex. So it's nice to have something regular with somebody and get to know their bodies, and somebody who likes to play. So, yay, what a great podcast.
Yeah, thank you all so much for joining for this quickie about cock talk. We'll have more cock talk, of course. And if there are any women listening, or men, you know, whoever's listening, if you've got tips you want to share that have been helpful, questions that you have, maybe there's a situation. We love taking in people's experiences and seeing how we can coach you through it. And Lisa shared some really great tips and articles and videos. So thank you so much, Lisa, Polywife, for being open and authentic and happy to share. It's just such a joy. And, you know, thank you, Ella, the Virgin, for joining and you know,
being
asking
open
the questions.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Awesome.
Take care, everyone. Have a great
Bye.
day. See you next time.
Bye.
Want more? Head over to theplayfulpodcast.com for all the juicy things we have to offer. From there, you can join our community where you can get access to after hours, attend upcoming workshops and events, and even book a session. Bye for now.